Gronk. Yeah, the Rob Gronkowski wants to return to the NFL. Gronk, spike the like button and let's talk about it. Man, it feels good to say that. Is it true? Is it possible? Who cares, man? It's fun. If Gronk wants to return to the NFL, if Rob Gronkowski wants to spike the football in the end zone a few more times, why not? In my opinion, the greatest tight end of all time, a dominant force on the gridiron. If Gronk wants to come back, I'm all for it. He's 36 years old, or he's going to be 36 years old. He's 35 currently. He turns 36 this year. He's actually, I think, the same age as Travis Kelce. Would it be that crazy if Gronk returned to the NFL? And I know there's going to be haters out there. There's going to be people in the comments saying, Mitch, he's retired once. He's retired twice. He's no good anymore. He can't run. He's washed. Why would we even want him back on a football field? He's on Fox. He's doing his movie appearances, his commercials, his podcasts with Edelman. Leave him alone. Let him be. Let him retire. But if this is truly a rumor that is coming from Gronk himself that he wants to play, then let him play. Let him be. Let him go. He's still Rob Gronkowski. A reminder of who the real greatest tight end of all time would not really be a bad thing. He did it once before, did he not? The last time we saw Gronk play was in 2021. And actually, he came back to the NFL in 2020 to help Brady and the Bucs win that Super Bowl in 2020. Had his best, arguably his best game of the season that season in that Super Bowl with 2 touchdowns against the Kansas City Chiefs. 2 tutties, as Gronk would say. And in 2021, he actually played better than he did in 2020. 55 catches, 802 yards, and 6 touchdowns on only 89 targets, right? That was 14.6 yards per catch. They had Godwin, they had Evans, they had AB for a brief period, Leonard Fournette. Gronk was not the main option by any stretch in Tampa Bay, but he still looked like a very capable tight end, and certainly a starting caliber tight end the last time he played, right? And to me, if he wants to come back and be that 3rd pass catcher on a football team, the 4th pass catcher on a football team, and experience being in a locker room and winning and playing again and just proving to himself that he can at this age, maybe he feels better, fresher, more athletic, quicker, faster. Who knows? He might feel better now than he did a couple years ago, right? Is it that crazy to say that at 36, he could be better than what he was at 33 or 34? Because honestly, he was better in 2021 than he was in 2018 or 2020. So it wouldn't be that far of a stretch, in my opinion. But I want to examine this further. If you guys are wondering, 3 minutes, almost 4 minutes in the video, Mitch, what in the blue are you talking about? Where is this even coming from? This is where it's coming from, guys. Cecil here reports that league sources tell him that 4-time Super Bowl champion tight end Rob Gronkowski is considering a return to the NFL. He worked with Sean Payton at Fox, and I'm told he loves Denver and quarterback Bo Nix. 2 of his brothers, Dan and Chris, had short stints with the team. Okay? And then Michael here, Patriots fan, says, you'd love Drake May at Rob Gronkowski. Now, for what it's worth, Ian Rappaport later did say, nope, nonsense, to breaking news from Cecil saying that Gronk is training to return to the NFL. Where is he headed? So in this video, we're going to treat this rumor like it's realistic and like it could happen. Because this is not like he's 45 or 50. He's 36, okay? It's very possible that if Gronk got bored doing media and he wanted to play 1 or 2 more years, I don't think it would be crazy. I also feel like there are plenty of teams that would be interested. So we're going to explore the different avenues, the different landing spots, and the different locations that Rob Gronkowski could potentially play in 2025. Okay? So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the teams that I think would be interested, the fits that I think would be best for Rob Gronkowski if he wants to play another season in the NFL. And like I said, guys, he played better in 2021 than he played in 2020. He was more dynamic. He moved better. He was swifter, quicker, right, than he was previously. So looking at him right now, he doesn't look like he is, let's say, in a bulky enough state. He probably would have to put on some muscle, but he was a little slimmer in 2021 than he had been previously in his career, and that did actually help him achieve a quicker game, okay? So let's talk about the first team, which is, of course, the Denver Broncos, as brought up in that tweet. Would the Broncos make sense? Now, the attachment to the Broncos would be Sean Payton. Something interesting about Sean Payton is not only did he work with Gronk at Fox, but also Sean Payton was going to team up with Tom Brady in Miami. And I think it's very realistic to suggest that if Tom Brady and Sean Payton would have made that happen in Miami, they would have brought along Rob Gronkowski. So I think there is a connection between Sean Payton and Gronk, because there was a connection between Sean Payton and Tom Brady. And I think there's enough similarities between how he was utilized in both New England and Tampa to where he could be utilized in Denver. Obviously, Gronk would probably still come back to the NFL and be an efficient blocker. He also has a little bit of a football savant mind. I know that people don't really understand that because he's kind of a dummy on the surface of his actual personality, at least on TV. But when it comes to football, Gronk picks up things very quickly, and he is a football genius in some ways. Now, on top of that, he could provide a red zone presence for the Broncos that they don't currently have, and probably be their number 1 tight end as soon as he stepped onto the football field, because they don't have one right now. He'd also help their running game and help out their personnel usage, just in terms of what they could get away with the tight end on the football field. On top of that, we've seen Sean Payton have success with multiple tight ends throughout his career, including one Jimmy Graham, who was always going toe-to-toe with Gronk at the peak of their careers. So I could see Gronk fitting with the Broncos. Now, that being said, I don't know if that would be my first choice if I was Gronk. I feel like, yeah, you might like Bo Nix. You might like Denver itself. You might like Sean Payton. But if I wanted to return to the NFL, would I choose the Broncos out of all the teams that could potentially be interested? I'm not sure. So Broncos fans, let me know in the comments what you guys think of that. Do you think Gronk would be an asset to your team moving forward? Do you think he would be a great addition in 2025? Do you think he would help take the Broncos and Bo Nix over the top? Let me know in the comments section below. The next team is the next closest sourced team that we've heard of, and that is the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, this one makes sense because we've heard rumors about Joe Burrow reaching out to Gronk over the last couple of years, asking Rob Gronkowski to return to the NFL to play for the Bengals. We've actually heard these stories from Gronk himself, kind of thinking, could I go back to the NFL and play with Joe Burrow? And a lot of people do compare Joe Burrow's style of play to Tom Brady, so it would make some sense. On top of that, the Cincinnati Bengals do need a tight end. I don't think they have super dynamic tight end play. Mike Gesicki was their tight end last season, but as we know, Gesicki is more of a receiver and a move tight end and a slot receiver than he is a proper inline tight end. Imagine a combination of Gronk and Gesicki at tight end with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins on the perimeter and Chase Brown in the backfield. There's so much you could do with that versatility of an offense. So Gronk would be another chess piece for Joe Burrow. And if there is a quarterback in the NFL right now that better utilizes chess pieces than anyone else, it's probably Joe Burrow. Plus, he would be an excellent red zone threat, bring a little bit more dimension to their running game, and allow them to properly run 11 personnel and dominate in the running game the way that Zach Taylor and Joe Burrow want to. So, this would make some sense. I mean, they should be a contending team year in and year out with Joe Burrow. They would probably be a pretty fun team to play with, and Gronk would not have to be one of the top priorities in terms of he would probably be able to play a limited amount of snaps. He'd be able to play, a role that suits him. He wouldn't have to be relied upon to constantly get it first downs, constantly score touchdowns. That's Jamar Chase. That's T. Higgins, right? They have other players to throw the ball to. He would be an external option, like a secondary option in the offense, which is exactly what he should be, kind of like what he was in Tampa Bay. The next team is, of course, the Patriots. We have to explore the Patriots because Gronk is a Patriot at heart. He is a Patriot legend. He is a 3-time Super Bowl champ with New England and a future Hall of Famer. Now, if he comes back to the NFL, it would extend his window to get to the Hall of Fame. The one thing with Gronk going to the Patriots would be, would Gronk view the Patriots as a place that he would want to play at this point? Obviously, he probably has a good relationship with Robert Kraft. He loves Josh McDaniels. I mean, he knows the offense. He could step in there day one and execute. No questions asked. He probably would like Mike Vrabel, and he would probably be the style of player, especially at tight end, that Mike Vrabel was searching for. Could Gronk go to New England? Honestly, if he liked Drake May enough, and Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels gave him a good enough pitch, I wouldn't be that shocked if he did return to New England for a year or two. I mean, I don't think it would be the craziest thing. Just because there are connections there already in the building, he already would seamlessly fit the offense, and he would already be able to envision how he would be utilized. Plus, he would complement guys like Hunter Henry. The Patriots do need weapons, and yeah, sure, they'd like to add another receiver, but why not bring in another tight end that could really fit in Mike Vrabel's and Josh McDaniels' style of football, which is grind football, right? And it wouldn't be like playing for Belichick. It would be fairly similar with some of the same perks, but probably not as big of a grind as it was with Belichick. So I think that would also lessen the load on Gronk as well at this point in his career. So the Patriots have to be explored because Patriots fan base loves him. The organization loves him, and he would be absolutely, I mean, if he were to say, I'm returning to the Patriots, that would be the biggest news of any of these teams. I mean, let's be honest, okay? Next, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers could bring back Rob Gronkowski. He has some sort of connection to Jason Light and also to Todd Bowles. They were there along with Gronk when they won the Super Bowl, and when you win a Super Bowl with a couple people on that staff, it's pretty big. Gronk also apparently likes Baker Mayfield, although I don't know how close their connection is. And Gronk obviously loves Mike Evans, Tristan Wirfs, some of the players on the team already. Chris Godwin, potentially, if he sticks around. So, yeah, they've got Cade Otton, who's a decent tight end there. But Gronk could definitely contribute to that offense, right? And again, just like he was previously in Tampa, he'd be able to feed off of Evans and Godwin, and the Bucs would already have a pretty good idea of how to utilize him. Plus, he'd be a pretty, it would be a good spot for him, just in general, because he's been there, he's lived there, he's enjoyed Tampa Bay, and it's a good vibe, right? Tampa's a great vibe for Gronk. It really suits him well. So the Bucs could definitely be a team that would look back to Rob Gronkowski and try to add him back to the team. Plus, they've been successful the last couple of years. They've been to playoffs the last couple of years. That doesn't hurt, okay? Next up, we've got the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, this one's probably a little less likely just because they probably are not in contention for anything. But the question is, does Gronk want to play? If Gronk does want to play, does he want to play to win? Or does he want to play to prove something to himself or to, probably not for the contract, okay? That would help. But would Gronk want to play to prove something to himself, or just for the fun of the game, for the love of the game? Is that why he wants to play? Or is it to win, to add to his legacy? Those are questions that need to be answered. But with the Raiders, obviously you have a connection to Tom Brady. So there's first and foremost the guy that's been most influential in Gronk's career and which teams he's chosen. That is obviously Tom Brady. So that would be first and foremost for an easy pitch. Pete Carroll is also a coach that's very easy to play for, and I think would love Gronk, definitely. Working with Brock Bowers would be pretty special, right? Gronk alongside Brock Bowers, like generation, like passing the torch, so to speak, in some sort of way, but also helping teach Brock Bowers, be a mentor to Brock Bowers. That would be pretty cool. Plus, they'd be a pretty sweet combination. Gronk in line, Bowers as a chess piece moving around the formation. And depending on what they do at quarterback, the Raiders could be pretty interesting, like relatively quickly, right? It's not like they have too far to go, given I feel like their offensive line and their defensive line are already pretty stable and competitive. Plus, it's Vegas. It's a fun vibe. Gronk would fit Vegas perfectly. I mean, imagine the endorsements and things there. So, yeah, Rob Gronkowski to the Raiders would be pretty fun. Next, the 49ers. I throw the 49ers in there because a lot of players want to play for Kyle Shanahan. The most similar tight end in the NFL to Gronk over the years has been George Kittle. Imagine Gronk and Kittle smashing people in the run game and their ability to run two tight end formations. That would give Shanahan potential dreams, during his coaching meetings, potentially. That would open up the offense to a different degree. I think the Niners would definitely be interested in that. And San Francisco, California, good weather overall, a good place to play, a legacy franchise, the favorite team of Brady and Edelman, like two of his closest friends. That's very small, but that's something. And I would also say that they've got plenty of weapons, right? But that being said, he'd be a complementary piece. And he'd be in one of the most fun run games, one of the most fun play action offenses, a lot of fun from a football perspective, okay? And they're also going to be a contending team in the NFC. So, yeah, the Niners, okay, that would be pretty sweet too. Next up, you've got the Bills. Rob Gronkowski, I believe, grew up in Buffalo. If I'm not mistaken, he grew up close to Buffalo. So, while Bills fans might not be in love with Gronk because of his years in New England and some of the things that happened there, I do feel like if he did sign with the Bills, that would be pretty awesome and a lot of fun. I mean, if there is a quarterback that most resembles Gronk's style of play of a tight end, it's probably Josh Allen. Josh Allen's one of the most admired quarterbacks in the NFL among media members, of course. He won the MVP. I'm sure Gronk would love to play with him, and he'd be a nice complementary piece to what they already have going in the tight end room and the offense. They have a very fun offense. They have kind of driven their style of play towards the run game more often. And I think McDermott would really love to have a big physical tight end as well that could really play well, in the red zone and situationally for Buffalo and on third downs and things like that. Also, it might be a childhood dream of his to play for the Bills. All right, I think that was the team that he loved or admired the most growing up, or he was closest to. So I feel like that could be something that would be on his bucket list. So that's why I include the Bills. Plus, they're a contending team that could win the Super Bowl. So that obviously helps. Two more teams remaining. They're both in the same city. Los Angeles Rams. This is if they keep Stafford. Now, maybe if they had Jimmy Garoppolo, it's potentially something, but I feel like if they had Stafford, McVay, Puka Nacua, McVay is one of those coaches that it feels like everyone wants to play for. It feels like Gronk, he could maybe be their best tight end from day one, like probably better than Tyler Higbee. That's a team that loves to run the football. They could use a blocking tight end. That would really, from a personnel standpoint, help Sean McVay quite a bit. And yeah, I think being in LA, I think he's spent a lot of time in LA in recent years, with Fox Sports and all that stuff. So I feel like that would make a lot of sense. Staying there, having opportunities outside of football, being in LA, being in Hollywood, that sort of vibe, and having a quarterback like Stafford would definitely help if that's the case. And the Los Angeles Chargers, for the very same reasons of, okay, you're in Hollywood, you're still like near Fox, you're still near whatever you want to do, whatever your girlfriend's got going on, whatever's the case there. You've got plenty of opportunities, but you're playing for an awesome, fun coach in Harbaugh with a great culture. You've got a quarterback in Justin Herbert that's going to get you the ball. And it's the Chargers. It's just a fun team to play for. So I could definitely see those teams. And then the Chargers could be on the rise as well. The Chargers are one of those teams that this year could be on the rise. They could really be storming their way through the AFC. They add a guy like Gronk. Greg Roman loves to use tight ends, loves to have multiple tight ends on the field. I'm sure he'd love to have a guy like Gronk in his diversity of his football game. So those are some landing spots for Gronk. That is kind of my opinion on how I would see him fitting at this point in his career. And honestly, if he did come back, I wouldn't be shocked if he was still a starting caliber player because he's a freak of nature at the end of the day. He's one of the most freakish players we've ever seen in the NFL, and specifically at tight end. And his versatility would be coveted across the NFL, especially if you were to put on a little bit of size and still be able to block at a high level. But I feel like if Gronk does want to play, why not? Let's have some fun with it. He's only 36. He's not 50. So Gronk spiked the like button, guys. Don't forget to comment your opinion and let me know which team you think best fits Gronk and list the reasons why you think that. And also, don't forget to subscribe for more NFL offseason news just like this. Peace.